Welcome to the golden age of connectivity. In today's world, if you are not tweeting whilst listening to your personalised radio station just after updating Facebook, but not before you've checked your Fitbit to make sure that you've done your requisite steps to get to your 10,000 step target for the day, so that you can sit down at night and command your worldwide alliance in a massive multiplayer online role-playing game, then apparently you are not as connected as you may think. Just when we thought we couldn't get more connected, a little concept called the Internet of Things moves us into the age of hyperconnectivity. No need to plug a lamp into one of those old-fashioned timers when you go away on holiday. We can control the lights in our house in real time from our phones. Wearable technologies enable us to exercise at peak levels for maximum burn in the morning, whilst our refrigerators sense that we are running low on soft drink and place an order to be delivered later that day. By the time you get home, the washing machine knows that your gym gear has been in your bag all day and it's already cranked its settings up to heavy-duty wash and preparation. All that remains is just to sit back and relax as you send your drone off to pick up the pizza. Now, as a self-confessed gadget man, I am in awe of the world that we live in. Who would have thought that I would have a device in my pocket infinitely more powerful than the one that Captain James T. Kirk used when he so boldly went where no others had gone before? The fundamental building blocks of this connectivity are the lines of characters that tell our machines what to do. Code. With the proliferation of new technologies that tend to invade our everyday lives, we are faced with a crisis. The world needs more coders. The media is awash with all of these stories about the IT skills shortage. Our own rock star new technology companies like Xero and Vend, as well as our burgeoning game design industry, they're all crying out for more coders. It is clear that with the pervasive invasion of code into our daily lives, we need more people moving into this industry. There is only one answer to the question of where are all the coders? They are in our school system right now. They are the 5-year-olds that started school yesterday, and they are the 13-year-olds that head off to high school at the end of this year. I believe that coding needs to be part of their daily school life. Coding as a literacy will become mainstream in our schools. Other countries, like the United Kingdom, have already fast-tracked coding into their national curricula right from when children start school at the age of 5. So what should we be doing? We're a school of 290 students with children from new entrants to the age of year 8 in the northwest of Auckland, and we believe in trying to develop self-monitoring, self-regulating, self-motivated learners. Now, with all this talk of connection, I often reflect back on a conversation that I had with a parent a number of years ago. It went something like this. Headmaster! He was English. Headmaster, I've been thinking lately that we need a computer lab. When are you going to get up with the play and get one of those things put in at school? We need an IT-savvy workforce, do you hear? We need our children to be using the technology pretty much all the time. I paused, smiled, and drew breath, because I could tell this was going to be one of those learning conversations that they had talked about at new principal school. Don't worry, I said, don't worry, it's in the plans. We're going to put the computer lab right next door to the pencil lab. He looked a little confused and perplexed. Pencil lab, he said. Yeah, that's right, our pencil lab. You know, the room where we take kids to use pencils. His reply was exactly what I was waiting for. That seems ridiculous, taking children out of classrooms to use a pencil. Surely they need them in their classrooms where they're doing their learning. He had walked straight into it, and I brought down the killer blow. That is exactly why we will not have a computer lab at school. The tools of learning need to be where the children are so that they can access them all the time. In our age of making sure that we have technology accessible all the time, we must make sure that we can get people out of this lab mentality. So we can teach children to code like this, all in rows, doing the same thing at the same time, in the same way. But that seems a little reminiscent of a former age. Teaching children to code in this way will only appeal to a narrow range of people, and it's not representative of the workplaces they may populate, where creativity, teamwork, collaboration, and collective intelligence are highly valued attributes in our highly regarded IT industry. So if we are to provide children with the opportunity to learn to code, we need to do it by stealth.
Is this thing broadcasting? Look, if it is, and you can hear us, please help. We've known they've been coming for some time, but it looks like the zombies are finally here. The only way that we can defeat them is by building as many robots as we can to take them on. And we need your help. But we need to know that you're up to it. So what we'll do is we'll set you a series of challenges, and when you complete each challenge, you send us a photo to say you finished it, and we'll release the next set of materials. What you'll eventually build is a robot with a programmable brain that you can control. So please help us. You may be our only hope. Wait, what's that noise? I think you're coming.
The first rule of Zombie Robot Club is that you don't talk about Zombie Robot Club. So when I get back to school, I'm going to have to apologise to all of the zombie apocalypse resistance movement members for sharing this top secret information. Zombie Robot Club is one of the many ways we try to develop a tinkering approach to coding. Now, coding is important and necessary, but in the big scheme of things, it's just part of the group problem-solving challenge, a byproduct. Now, if children see a star in my window in the morning, they know that a new challenge has arrived, and it awaits them at 10 a.m. So remembering the first rule of Zombie Robot Club, which is... Thank you, we don't talk about Zombie Robot Club. Remembering that first rule, the children have to come up with a creative excuse to get out of class to make their way to the administration block. But there they face an even tougher challenge, getting past the office staff so that they can join me in Zombie Robot headquarters. So the recruits take part in a number of activities, ranging from the vibrating, light-emitting zombie distraction device, all the way through to the ever-popular stationary zombie attractor. So this was completed with code that was not constructed by the students. Okay? But what they had was they managed to see the physical end result of all of the values and commands on their screen. Now this makes children inquisitive. They can't help but tinker, change the code just to see what the effect is. Now, understanding what the code is trying to do becomes a collaborative group task. So do you think you're happy with how you've changed the code?
Yeah.
So where did you go and change the code?
Just in here, the light sensor drops below 1,000. We
So you-
changed that, we went to 2,000 and we changed it.
Mucking back with it now.
And then what did you... So the children end up building their own Arduino-controlled light-sensing robot, learning how to code when they need to. The role of the teacher is to simply hand over the task and step back. And when the inevitable questions of what do I have to do arise, I simply shrug my shoulders and say, how might you find out? Now they are infinitely more resourceful and divergent in their solutions and approaches to the task than I could ever possibly be. The zombie robot crews were so engaged in the process that they ended up 3D printing, designing and 3D printing their own robot chassis because they weren't happy with the ones that came in the post. Zombie Robot Club has reinforced for me the capacity of children to handle difficult tasks without relying on a teacher or adult for the answer. So, we have children learning to code by copying, tinkering, and generally making a heck of a lot of mistakes as they build real things. But the rewards at the end of those learning pits are the smiles on the faces of the children as they triumph over the task at hand. Our next challenge is to try and convince our community of the importance of our growing maker culture. Make Club is open to anyone of any age from anywhere. You just have to be able to get to Taupaki School to join in. Now it starts at 3:45 on Thursdays, and if you're a child, you must bring an adult with you to join in. We want to educate our parents as well as our students. Starting the club well after school finishes and requiring adult attendance means that Make Club will not be a drop and leave after school care option. In our first Make Club session, we had a large number of mums bringing their children along, and then they would step back and not take part. And there were cries of, look, I'm just here because I have to be here, okay? So-and-so said I had to come because you needed an adult. But 2 terms into Make Club, and those very same mums are now active tinkerers in our growing maker community. Make Club is a place where adults, teachers, students and parents learn new skills. And they work together on tasks that involve using all of the tools at our disposal. 3D printers, electronic textiles, computer-aided design software, hammers, saws, sewing machines, programmable microcontrollers like Makey and the Arduino. It is a place where kids mentor adults, where children help each other out, and where adults are very eager to pass on all of their advice to anyone that will listen to them. And it's all run by 3 amazingly talented geek girls. 2 of our teachers, Kimberly Bars and Kate Davison, and our fantastic board chairperson, Paula Hock. The projects that we've been doing include making one working computer out of a whole lot of broken machines, 20 or so broken machines. They made one working computer. There have been build your own robot battles, as well as experimenting with computers that are controlled with your mind using your brainwaves. We've even constructed an animatronic, remote-controlled Wizard of Oz.
I am Oz, the great and terrible.
As well as electrifying Dorothy's dress for the finale of the school production. The current crop of projects include modifying our school-built 3D printers so that one of them prints in clay and the other one prints in chocolate. Building a quadcopter that will link to virtual reality goggles so that we can video our annual school cross-country from multiple angles. But I'm most interested in a project that is created by some 8 and 9-year-old students along with the caretaker. Now, they are designing interactive rubbish bins that encourage the students to use them. So these rubbish bins respond with sound and light when children do the right thing. When we provide children with the opportunity to learn code and context, we see children who are more resilient, more resourceful, and more divergent in their thinking. They are bold and courageous, not afraid to make mistakes because they understand that mistakes are empowering. We need children to be the creators of the next technologies, not just consumers of the current ones. So there is no doubt that the world needs more coders and that the people that will fill those jobs are in our school system right now. So what next? We could put our kids in front of computers in labs, learning the syntax of code, but I believe that the output of that path is a generic carbon copy coder who may serve some industry purpose but little else. Teaching coding in this way, does that mirror what David Warlick suggests about our education systems as a whole when he says, no other generation in history has ever been more thoroughly prepared for the industrial age as the current generation? This begs the question, are we simply replacing an analog production line with one that is digital? I thought we were past that in the 21st century. A better way is to engage students in real problems that require design thinking, collaboration, teamwork, iteration spirals, making and unmaking, breaking and fixing the world around them. As teachers and as parents, we must make sure that we do not limit our children to the world that came before them. Do you want us to produce code jockeys who can bang out code for industry? Or do you want to flood the workforce with people who can think creatively, ponder ungoogleable questions, and who can not only problem solve, but have the capacity to be effective problem finders? I know which I would choose. Thank you.